You've probably heard of Vinted, the resale fashion app that's become a total unicorn. But have you ever wondered how they did it? And maybe more importantly, how you could build something just as successful? Well, in this explainer, we're going to decode the exact blueprint for building a winning peer-to-peer resale app using Vinted as our guide.
So how do you build an app that's literally changing the way we all shop? The answer isn't just about code or fancy tech. Nope. It's about tapping into a huge cultural shift, a change in how we think about what we own, what has value, and what it means to be sustainable. We're going to dig into how you can build a platform that speaks directly to that change.
All right, first things first, let's get on the same page. A peer-to-peer or P2P resale app isn't your typical online store. It doesn't hold any inventory. Think of it more like a digital matchmaker. It connects someone who's got a closet full of amazing stuff they don't wear anymore with the exact person who's looking for it. The app's main job? To make the whole process, payments, shipping, and trust totally seamless.
So why even talk about this? Because right now we're in the middle of what you could call a resale gold rush. The opportunity here is absolutely massive. And this isn't just some passing trend either. It's a real fundamental change in the market.
I mean, the speed at which this is all happening is just staggering. This is not a niche little corner of the internet anymore. Re-commerce, selling secondhand stuff, is actually growing way faster than old school retail. That alone tells you everything you need to know about where consumer habits are heading.
So who's behind this big push? Well, it's largely a generational thing, with Gen Z and millennials leading the charge. They're driven by this really powerful combo of things. They demand sustainability, they want affordability without killing their personal style, and they are consciously turning their backs on the whole wasteful cycle of fast fashion. This is a movement with real values behind it.
Okay, so let's get into Vinted's secret sauce. What makes their model so different and, frankly, so disruptive? It really all comes down to one core idea. They started a seller-first revolution.
And here it is. This is the game changer. Most marketplaces, they take a cut from the seller. Vinted just flipped that whole idea on its head. They charge sellers 0 fees to list and sell. Instead, the buyer pays a small buyer protection fee. This one simple tweak completely removes the friction for sellers. It encourages them to list tons of items, which creates this huge, amazing inventory that, guess what? Attracts even more buyers. It's a brilliant, self-perpetuating cycle. So what does a transaction actually look like? It's basically a 6-step dance designed to be super simple and safe. The seller lists their item, for free, remember. The buyer finds it, loves it, and pays the platform, not the seller directly. That money is held in what's called escrow. It's like a secure digital safe. Only after the seller ships the item and the buyer says, yep, got it, and it's perfect, does the platform release the money. This one process single-handedly solves the biggest hurdle in peer-to-peer sales: trust.
Okay, so we've got the business model down. Now let's translate that into an actual app. What are the absolute non-negotiable features you need? Think of these as the foundational building blocks for the entire experience.
First up, the experience for your users and sellers has to be buttery smooth. That means super easy sign up with social media or email, user profiles with ratings so people can build the reputation, and the process for listing an item, it has to be dead simple, like under a minute. For sellers, a clean dashboard to manage their orders is a must. And little things like offering bundled shipping can make a huge difference in encouraging bigger sales.
Next, let's talk about the marketplace itself, the engine that makes it all run. You need a powerful search with really detailed filters, for size, brand, condition, all that good stuff. In-app chat is a must for buyers to ask questions or negotiate. And like we've said, that secure escrow payment system and a transparent review system, they're the absolute bedrock of the whole platform. Now this is where things get really cool. You can use AI to create a kind of magical experience for your users. Think personalized recommendations that feel like you have your own personal shopper. Or AI that can look at a photo of a jacket and automatically fill in all the details for the seller. It can even suggest a good price based on similar items that have already sold. This isn't science fiction anymore, it's what users are starting to expect. An app with cool features is one thing, but it also has to be a real business. And that business is built on 2 giant pillars: trust and profit. You've got to build for both, because honestly, without one, the other just can't exist. This quote right here, it's the golden rule. It's everything. If your users don't feel safe, they won't list their items, and they sure won't buy anything. Every single decision you make has to be viewed through the lens of building and protecting that trust. So how do you actually build that trust?
Well, this isn't just a simple checklist. It's your platform's immune system. Escrow payments are your first line of defense. They protect everyone's money. User verification and public ratings create accountability. But you also have to plan for when things go wrong, so you need a super clear and fair process for handling disputes. And behind the scenes, you need things like fraud detection and easy reporting tools to act as your silent guardians, keeping the whole marketplace safe and healthy.
All right, let's talk about making money. The Vinted model with the buyer protection fee is fantastic for getting a ton of listings on your app. But it's not the only way. You could go with traditional seller commissions and take a small slice of every sale. You could offer sellers paid boosts to get their items seen by more people. Or you could even have a subscription model for serious professional sellers who need more advanced tools. And how do you actually build the thing? Well, you've got about 3 main paths. You can go for full custom development, which gives you total control, but it's going to cost more and take longer. A white label solution is basically a pre-built app that you can customize, which gets you to market way faster. And then there are no-code tools, which are perfect for building a simple version just to test out your idea before you go all in.
Okay, the blueprint is done. You have the model, you have the features, you have the business plan. Now comes the most important part, turning that blueprint into a real, live, breathing marketplace.
Look, if you remember only one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. You have to solve the classic chicken and egg problem. And you do that by focusing on the chicken, the supply. You absolutely must have items for people to buy on day one. A buyer who shows up to an empty digital shop will never ever come back. So how do you get that initial supply? Well, don't try to be everything to everyone right away. Start small, in a specific niche like vintage band t-shirts or high-end kids' clothes. Partner with influencers in that space to get them to list items from their own closets. Then, use referral programs and focus on building a real community to turn your first users into your biggest cheerleaders. As we look ahead, the 2 biggest forces driving this whole industry are only going to get stronger. AI is going to keep making it easier and easier to list an item. Pretty soon, it'll be as simple as just taking a picture. And the cultural shift towards sustainability, it's going to make resale not just an alternative, but the default way to shop for millions of people.
So the takeaway here is pretty clear. The opportunity is huge, the consumer behavior is already there, and we have the tech blueprint to make it happen. The future of shopping is, without a doubt, secondhand. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build?